BN.
BN. Oh gosh.
Yeah, yeah, it's like a derivative for BM.
I see. And we're live. Welcome, people. I'm sure there'll be people joining in a moment, but how's it going, everyone?
I'm gonna
Uh,
announce.
Welcome to the weekly Vol. We are back again. We're going to talk about all things markets. We're going to show you what's happening in the space and hopefully showcase some very interesting opportunities that are going on in the market right now. There are ways to make money in all kinds of markets, even the crab market that we're in right now. And we'll cover some of those today as well. So, yeah, let me first of all open up my screen properly, and maybe we can start by just having a look at the overall market as a whole. Um, we've been we've been a little bit choppy recently. Again, I mean, I think price action wise. Hold on, if I share my screen, you guys will be able to see in a moment. Hello, people. Welcome. I'm seeing lots of you join. How's it going, guys? It's good to have you all here. I'm joined by Mo as well as always.
What's up, guys?
So here's where we are right now with Bitcoin, and I'd say price
Same as
action
last
wise,
week.
we are exactly the same as last week. In fact, on Friday we were okay. This is the candle on Friday. We're exactly the same price as Friday, like exactly the same, which is crazy because you I would have thought that we had a little more volatility, but we are just kind of in this crab market for now, and
Yeah.
it's just one of those things right now. I think that we just have to deal with. I mean, the question is when is Bitcoin going to finally make this move back up over 98K again? And we've been chopping in this kind of range for a while. When are we going to go for it? When are we going to push past 100 again? I've been waiting.
I think it's very soon. I think it's very soon.
I mean, all we need is a little bit of push, and we'll be right above there again. Just a little bit
All
of push is
all
all
we
we need.
need is one sailor boy.
No, but here's the thing, right? Sailor's been buying around this whole area. Like this whole thing, Sailor's been buying. And so the question is, if Sailor wasn't buying, how bad do you think this market would be right now?
Yeah, we would have probably went to like 80s, or
Right?
even lower, even lower.
So I mean, this is like something that I think is a little worrisome as well, because eventually there comes a point where like without having those ongoing buys from Sailor, it's tricky. It's very, very tricky. So yeah, just something that again I've been thinking about as well is like, I think we talked about this last week, kind of covering the idea of how Bitcoin is doing okay compared to the rest of the market, which is doing terrible. And if you were to just show a little bit of weakness on Bitcoin, we've as mentioned last week as well, we've been in this range since November, December, January. We're halfway through February. We've been in this range. Um, if Bitcoin shows a little bit of weakness and kind of drops below, maybe goes down into the 80s,
Yeah,
then how bad is that going to be for alt markets? And the reason why this is interesting is, again, we mentioned this last week, but this is exactly what happened when we were in the range before. We were in this range back a year ago, from March, April, May, and then all of a sudden, when we get to June and then starting July, we actually broke below. We went below the range itself, and we went quite a bit below the range. We actually dropped an 18% below the range. And so if we look at this and the same thing happens, November, December, January, February, maybe March as well, and we drop 18% just like we did last year, 18% is going to take us to $74,000 Bitcoin.
oof.
$75,000 Bitcoin, I should say. If that were to happen, man, oh man, like, are we gonna get wrecked in alts? I mean, we're already down bad, but I mean, if this were to happen, this would be scary. And I say scary in quotation marks because in reality, like anyone who's held Bitcoin has done really, really, really well. Anyone who's been chilling in stable coins has also been doing really well. But for us idiots who thought we were smart enough to buy altcoins and thought we could find the altcoin that's going to take us to the moon, You know,
We're getting wrecked.
yeah, we are. And I think you don't really have to go that far away from Bitcoin to even see this for yourself. I mean, we can look at ETH, for example, which I mean, let me pull up this ETH chart. Uh, it's already ETH is down how much from all-time high? Well, I mean, local top, I should say, not even all-time high. 35% down from
20.
all-time high.
Yeah,
And
it's
so
bad.
what happens if Bitcoin falls down 18% from the bottom of the range, which is actually like 25% from here? How much does ETH fall? 25%
Pro-
too?
Probably
And that
to
will
like
take us back down to
28,
2K.
1800, 1900.
Yeah, that would be 30% from here. I mean, honestly, the thought of ETH being $1,800 actually makes me want to puke. Like I feel sick thinking about that potential outcome. Uh,
Mm,
yeah, I mean, yeah, it actually does make me want to puke, you know. Um, so
it's
yeah,
bad.
let's see. Um, how's it going, Timmy? I see Rafero is here. We got a bunch of different folks in here. A Magic Jammer is here as well. How's it going, everyone? Uh, yeah, I mean, it'll just be build time, honestly. Like, this just worries me a little bit because, you know, recently, you know, I think the market has just had a lot of news coming at it. You know, some really positive news, some negative news. Um, you know, I think the Trump tariffs have kind of scared everyone a little bit. Um, there's a lot of stuff happening, like a really a lot of stuff, and then you just see random news just pop out of nowhere with stuff like, you know, the ETH staking ETF. I don't know if you saw this, Mo.
Yeah.
If you had any thoughts on that.
All I can say is that all these news are being like, it pumps it and then like the market sends it back down. Like these news are unable to send ETH higher. Like, and this is very bad.
Yeah, but I mean, like in general, like when I think about even just general news about what's happening in macro, but also like what's happening in crypto world as well. w- Even the good news is not doing anything at all. Like good news is not causing price to go up whatsoever. And I think when this happens, I personally am generally just going to just be a little bit more cautious. You know, I would love, I would love for like us, you know, the market to just kind of react to really positive news, whether it's ETF news, whether it's macro news, whether it's, you know, whatever Trump is doing, maybe interest rates coming down, you know, economy is doing okay. I'd love to see all of this stuff just cause us to go up. But the fact that, you know, even with like generally, I think the bad news is over. I don't really think there's that much to worry about. Yeah, it's we're not doing that well. And I think what's interesting is like you look at like S&P 500 as well, and we're doing okay. S&P 500 is
It's
doing
almost at all time high.
Yeah, it's at all-time high. There was a little bit of a scare about maybe a month ago in January where I think the S&P was down maybe 5.5%. I think this happened with DeepSeek, right? And I think we talked about this back then with how like the fall in Nvidia and everything like that. But I mean, you know, the S&P 500's at all-time high. I mean, have you seen the price of gold as well, Mo?
Yeah, it's like 29.50.
Crazy. What's the best chart for me to look at for gold?
XAU USD.
I mean, look at this. Look at this. 2,900. I mean, this chart is
It's up
unbelievable.
only from 1800 back in October 2023.
Yeah, from that point onwards, yeah, you're right. It is up
Yeah.
60%. How
Yeah.
much is Bitcoin up, interestingly, from that point as well?
Uh,
From October 23. Let's see.
Probably a 3x.
100. No, it's only up 80%.
Wait, how?
Oh,
Oh,
from
no,
23. I'm stupid.
2023.
I'm stupid. Yeah, it's up. It's up quite a lot, actually. 250%. But I mean, yeah, gold.
250, that's very good.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at gold, yeah, it's absolutely ripping.
Yeah,
Um,
the move on gold is way better, but like it's all driven by geopolitical panic.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? Like people don't know which currency to hold nowadays. Do
Yeah,
you even
it's
hold?
a safe haven.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I do think like this is just I think it's just interesting to see like stock market is at all time high, gold is at all time high. We're having
Ethereum
so
at bear market level.
Right, yeah, literally. We're having there's actually quite a lot of news that's really positive about crypto assets in general, whether it's ETF related, whether it's like, with the new administration, the fact that like crypto is actually being adopted now, the US government is not selling their Bitcoin. There's a lot of people are speculating on this strategic Bitcoin reserve. I
Yeah,
mean, uh, it's really tough. I mean, for altcoins, it's really, really, really tough. And I'm not talking about your 1 million market cap coins. I mean, even the likes of Solana,
the
right? Like,
majors, the majors.
yeah, the majors. We're like crabbing and crabbing and crabbing away. And we had I think this chart really kind of sums up like kind of the lack of the lack of like follow up strength. I think we mentioned like with Solana all time high. I think it's $260. I think if I zoom out all the way to last cycle, you can see November 21, $260 on Sol. And this cycle we had a little chance back in November last year. I think meme coin mania was really pretty crazy back then.
Yeah,
Two attempts on the daily to break through, weren't able to do it. Came all the way back down to $168, and this is quite a pullback as well. I know we're talking 35%. And within a week, like something crazy happened in January, and we kind of almost broke through, but we had 4 or 5 attempts to break all-time high, and the daily couldn't close. And since then, from actual all-time high Sol price, we're down 32% on Solana.
yeah.
And what worries me is that like Bitcoin isn't that down from all time high actually. Especially if we take a candle close, we're 10% down on the actual close, but from actual all time high, we're
What's even
12%.
worse with Solana is that I longed Solana on the day it dumped at like 176, and I rode it all the way up to like 295, and I round tripped it. I that was a very bad like trade on my end.
Yeah, I think the scary thing was like on that day where we closed for Solana, like on that day where we didn't close like that much and kind of went all the way back down, like on the re-entries or the retest I should say, like the follow-up, like three more retests and like not being able to close above that. I think that was the time to close that position.
Yeah, I expected it to break it honestly,
Yeah,
but
same, to be honest with you. Same.
yeah, very bad trade. But like yeah, we live to see another one.
But like again, like now we're just kind of in this kind of range between 180 and like 200, and like I think like we just have to wait for the market to like get some strength again, because right now I'd say in general the market doesn't have that much strength. You got a lot of assets that are actually at bear market lows still today, which I don't think is going to change now. I think one thing for sure, I'm very confident that there's no full blown alt season ever again. Like when I say full blown alt season, I'm talking about like those that 6 month period that we had like last
2021
cycle. Yeah, like where everything goes up, not just for 1 week. Like we get these
non-stop.
bubbles for 1 week, but
You can
non-stop.
buy anything. You can buy anything. You
Yeah,
get
I
my
remember
point.
in 2021, right? You could literally get a dartboard and like label every single position on the dartboard with a new coin. Close your eyes, do a 360, throw a dart, and even if it missed the wall, like you'd still hit an asset that would literally be up. That's how
Two, three,
crazy it was
four
back
x,
then.
10x.
Literally, that's how it was back then. I'm very confident that we don't see that again, and so your asset selection choice has to be really, really, really important here. I mean,
It's gonna be like niche related.
I mean, look at this, right? I mean, look at some of these coins. We had these mini bubbles now, like Curve, CRV. This is a DeFi coin. It actually went up 5x from the bottom, but then it's kind of retracing all the way again. Look at this as well. FXS. It did actually go up a little bit, all the way back down to bear market lows now. In fact,
Yeah,
lower than bear market lows. GMX as well. I was thinking, they're going to launch on Solana. There's some catalyst here. It did okay. Up 150%, slapped all the way back down to new lows. Like literally $13 a token. This token's never traded at that price ever before. And apparently we're in a bull market. I just don't believe that a bull market like we've ever seen before is coming. And
mm,
And you know what? Some of these assets do actually have strong fundamentals. I don't think it's anything to do with the fundamentals per se. I think it's just an attention game. I think we see the same thing with the AI agent coins as well now, like AI XBT. Let's have a look at like some of these. I mean, look at the Binance listing, almost a billion, and like now we're like slapped all the way back down, 75% down. And you get a few of these days where you get some good wicks that you can sell into. This is on a daily chart. I mean, you shouldn't be seeing wicks like that, right, for $100 million asset, but you do. But yeah, it just kind of all the way back down again. And assets like this, I really want to see like full blown alt mania that lasts for longer than like 2 weeks. But yeah, it's really hard to
Do
kind
you
of
think AI
picture it.
XPT gets a new all-time high?
No, I don't. I don't.
Really?
Yeah, I'm very confident on something like that.
Then why? Why is that?
You see, the for AI XBT to get to all time high now, like we're talking about like a 4x from here, right?
I
And
wouldn't like. I wouldn't say it's impossible.
no, I don't think it's impossible, but I would definitely bet against that happening.
I'd say that there's like a 30% chance it happens.
I'd call it like sub 5%.
No
And
way.
yeah, and the reason is because I think as we've seen, like the AI season was crazy for like 3 months. But as you've seen, like with the AI season before that, every single time that we have a new AI season, and we've had 3 AI seasons now, there's been new coins that basically run it up every time. So the
Yeah.
first AI season, we saw stuff like Fetch AI.
Ocean.
Yeah, and this was a long time ago now, but
This was in the beginning of 2023.
yeah, actually, yeah, it was actually quite a while ago. No, I think it was like end of 2023, and then like in like January or like February or March, then these went crazy. This is Fetch, right? It went up from bear market lows. It went up like 1,600%. Maybe you could kind of even have stuff like Render in this category. Let's have a look. When did Render go up? Yeah, similar time, right?
Idea.
Literally went from lows to highs, like 800% gain. But if you notice in the recent AI season, it went up a little bit, but like nowhere near, like it didn't break the local top even. I think even the likes of Tau, BitTensor, I mean, like this was one of my coins that I really liked as well. Again, huge run up from October 23 to like the top 1400% gain. And then like recently just chopping, and now it's actually broke down. We got lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. Probably another lower low coming. When you look at a chart pattern like this, just from a TA perspective. So these old AI coins like didn't do well. You had stuff like Grass, maybe in the middle that kind of has its own independent like AI cycle, and did really, really, really well initially. We're talking about October time,
Yeah.
launching and going up, again 1,000% as well, something crazy. And then we had like this recent phase of like the likes of AI 16Z, for example, which again did fantastic, going from zero, all the way up to 2.6 billion.
Yeah.
And like look at it now. It's down 80%. I mean, for it to get back to all-time high, we're talking about a 5x return. I just find it tricky to see how these coins are going to do it, because we still have a whole new generation of AI coins to come, where we have stuff like Nillion, we have Rituals, we have
And most
Jensen,
importantly, Kaito.
Kaito, exactly. So I feel like we're
By
just
the
going to see
way,
a new generation of
there's
AI coins.
there's a pre-market for Kaito right now live on Evo.
Really? Let's have a look. Let's see if I can pull it up.
Man, imagine it goes to like $100 per app.
I don't know how we would figure that out, but let's have a look. Let's have a look. So, okay,
Check the pre-market.
what's so interesting, right? And I'll show you this in a second as well. Bear with me, guys.
Bear with me.
Bear with me. Right.
And also speaking of bears, man,
Well,
what do you think?
we'll talk about Berachain in a moment. Let's
Yeah.
have a look at Kaito first. So Kaito is trading at $1.56, and
So
I'm
that's like
what
1.5 billion.
1.5 billion market cap, correct.
That's too low.
What's really interesting is if you go on the perpetuals that they have right now, they have OpenSea as well, which we'll talk about in a moment, but they also have Nilian, again another AI coin, very very hyped up, and this is trading what's this? I'm guessing similar, right? 800 and 900 million is trading at. These are going to be like the new generation of AI coins. And so I find it really hard to believe that these old AI coins are going to all of a sudden just start performing really well and, go straight to the moon again. Because we've seen it time and time again where the old AI coins just don't get attention. The attention goes to the new AI coins. We have at least 10 AI coins that are VC backed or like have really, really interesting AI products around them. The attention is going to go to them when they launch as well. So Nilian's one example. Kaito is another huge example, but there's also really big VC backed protocols like Jensen, Rituals, and many others as well that, Open Ledger, many others as well off the top of my head that I can't even think of right now. There's at least 10, 20 protocols. And I think all of the attention goes to them when they launch their tokens too. So it's one of the
Agree.
problems, one of the
Yeah.
big problems.
There's too much coins. There's too much coins.
Yeah, I'm just going to pause here because there's a lot of comments, so I'll just kind of read through them. Let's have a look. Crab is an option strategy. Yep, it's great for selling time value, definitely. Fundamental drivers are all that matter. I completely agree.
Yeah, man. Imagine you've been selling options for the last 2 weeks. You would have printed.
Absolutely. Oh, we got a question specifically about Tau. Yeah, this is again, Mo, just to kind of highlight like why I don't think like old AI coins are coming back. I have a bag of Tau, by the way, and it's performed terribly, like proper terrible. They had a huge upgrade, which is live right now, and I don't think anyone would even be able to tell me if I just showed them this chart and said, tell me on the chart when the new game-changing upgrade that completely revolutionized the tokenomics of this billion-dollar protocol came out. You wouldn't be able to tell me. I guarantee you, most people would say, "Oh yeah, it probably came out around here." No, it didn't. It literally came out like here. It came out here, and there's zero price action, like zero interest. Um,
Yeah.
so I think this just goes to show, like, yeah, as I'm very bullish AI, but I'm bullish on like the new stuff that comes out because this market is just not rewarding anything. Oh wait, sorry, I wasn't sharing my screen. You probably weren't able to see, but yeah, the upgrade came out here.
Oh.
Yeah,
So
nothing
nothing.
muted,
Yeah.
literally muted, right? Everyone, I see a lot of noise on Twitter about, oh yeah, dynamic Tau, like, oh yeah, this is game changing and everything like that. But I mean, the price action is not telling you anything. So I think it just becomes a
Yeah.
bit tricky to like be bullish on old AI coins, even though I'd love that to happen. The market's like telling me otherwise, and maybe I need to, I'm guilty of it myself because I end up huddling some of these coins for way too long. And I think actually I'm actually down on my Tau position overall because I dollar cost averaged and I did end up buying a lot higher as well.
Mm.
So I'm actually in the red on it. But I mean, it might be something where I just have to cut my bags and just move on because when you've got Kaito and Nilian and Open Ledger and Rituals and Jensen and all of these other AI coins launching, who the hell is going to be bidding Tau when you've got all of billions of dollars of market value being added through inflationary
Yeah.
funds? So,
We've been bag holding our coins for like too long. We should have been like rotating more.
yeah, it's a rotation market for sure, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's have a look at Magic Jammers saying have a look at the Doge BTC chart. We'll have a look at that in a second. Mo, you wanted to kind of talk about two things. I think one of them is, of course, this OpenSea launching their token, and somehow I believe this is trading at 1.3 billion FTV, which
Nice.
seems absurd to me.
Yeah. I
I think
think
one thing.
it's overvalued for it
I
to
think
be
the
the
one
same
thing
as
one
Kaito.
Yeah, one thing to note is that you can't really take these prices accurately, in my opinion, and that's because these order books are extremely thin, so please like be very, very careful if you're trading something like this. As you can see, the spread on the order book is like 10% almost, you know. You're going to get wrecked trading something like this. But yeah, OpenSea, I think, you know, does this bring back any sort of excitement in the NFT space potentially? You know, is this going to give us an opportunity to trade NFTs again with some up only action? Because I think even people who are holding who have been holding NFTs, they haven't necessarily performed that well overall, you know.
Yeah, even with NFTs, you would have like had to be a rotator instead of a holder.
Yeah, I mean, I think the craziest one that I've noticed recently has been Pudgy Penguins here,
Yeah,
which
Pudgy Penguins.
I mean, these were 30 ETH about a month ago before the airdrop, and the airdrop is down crazy as well. I'm pretty sure Milady's were a little bit higher, and you have to remember this is with ETH price going down a lot as well. So not only have you lost
Yeah,
with ETH price going down, but also in terms of like the value is, yeah, gone down a lot across the board really for a lot of these collections. So yeah,
it's been like
it's a weird one. How much?
a tough 2 months.
It really, really has. It really has. I guess the other thing that you wanted to talk about, and I think we'll spend a lot more time talking about this as well, is of course Bera, which I
Bear,
think definitely has been interesting to say the least. And maybe I
especially the
should.
last 24 hours.
I'll go onto the 1 hour time frame because I think it's probably a little bit easier to visualize. You can see that I haven't been using this chart myself. In fact, you know what? Let's see if I can open up the Levo chart instead
Yeah, place a trade right now for the culture.
for the culture. All
Yeah,
right, let's see. Okay, right, here we go. So I mean, I would say overall, like the price action hasn't been that interesting. And I think part of it is because like we've just been kind of we had a great first day. I think the first day was really quite wonderful. And then like yeah, we had that look at the wick, man. The wick going to $15 and then like 3 days,
yeah.
like three big red days as well.
Three
You know,
big painful days.
yeah, dropping like literally 70% in value. I believe we bottomed at like $4.80 or something like that. And then for
Yeah,
the last 3 days, we we've had some big wicks as well. Like the wicks on this have been wild, like huge daily wicks, and the volatility intraday has been pretty wild as well. But it looks like we're stabling out between $5 and $6. I think yesterday we went to
yeah.
6.3, but then we went all the way back down to 5.4 again. So yeah, it looks like
I
between
think
five and
$7 is very close.
well, I mean, $7 isn't actually that big of a like trade. Like it's only a 20% increase in value, and I think that's pretty easily achievable. The question is, can we get back to 10? And like 10 would be interesting, like an interesting point because that would put us at 5 bill. And that would be a 70% move from here. Quite a lot, actually, if you think about it. But you know, these things can be volatile and can move up rapidly. But yeah, I think what's interesting is that the funding has flipped as well, so you can actually get paid to short now. And beforehand, it was just getting paid to long.
Damn.
So funding has flipped.
That's probably so much open interest.
Maybe, yeah, maybe because you know, people probably are keen to short now as well. So yeah, I think you know, Bear has you know been pretty interesting. You know, I think what do you think is the fair value for Bear and why?
The fair value for Bera is probably between 8 and 10 billion
Why do you
FTV.
think that?
I think right now it's just being a bit undervalued because proof of liquidity hasn't even
Yeah.
started. So I think like with the when proof of liquidity like eventually starts like and the whole Ponzi
Mm.
begins, I think it can run up very nicely like to like 8 billion at least. 8 billion is only the all-time high it made on launch
Yes,
day.
8 billion is that. Yep. I mean the $10
So
that I was looking at is 70% up from here. That's only 5 billion. So yeah, I mean
How about you? What do you think?
So I was clearly very wrong. In my head, and again, like nothing is financial advice. So you guys know that I'm going to be biased. Being bullish on Bera. Of course, we're building on Bera, of course, as well. But yeah, I got the trade wrong in my head. I'm down a lot on my long position. Because in my head, I actually thought that Bera was worth over 10 bill. So when I saw Bera trading at no, over 5 bill, sorry, is what I meant to say. So when I saw Barrow trading at 5 bill and 4 bill, uh, I thought, you know what? This is actually incredible value. I think the valuation should be double this. I longed with size, and yeah, unfortunately, I'm down a lot on those positions. But I think good risk management is important to keep these positions going. I'll make sure that nothing happens to me and I don't get liquidated or anything as such. But in terms
Did you get
no, 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 no,
liquidated?
no. I use very, very low leverage, like 1.5x leverage. So,
Are you like using cross margin, right?
yes, I'm using cross margin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I think for me, like what's really interesting is I did these tweets a couple of days ago. Um, Here's basically some reference points of like the layer one chains based on circulating market cap, and ultimately circulating market cap is like probably the important thing when it comes to how much supply is available. You can definitely get these supply squeezes from time to time. These are prices as of the 7th of Feb, so they're going to be a week out of date anyway. I can't remember. Did we cover this on the weekly vol last week? I don't know if we did or not. We
Yeah,
did.
we did. We
But
did.
but yeah, to me, like it's kind of just comparing some of these other chains, especially the ones perhaps at the bottom. Is Bearer somewhat equivalent to some of these? Maybe. I think FTV. Someone said FTV is what matters. Bearer is still quite low down. So I think from a risk adjusted perspective, if you were to kind of pair trade Bearer against like the other L1 tokens, then I think that could be interesting, right? Like for example, you could do long Bearer, short Say, long Barrow, short Sonic. I think something like that from a risk
Yeah.
adjusted perspective to me seems like a easy trade. But again, no financial advice.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Long beta, short anything like inflationary.
The thing is, right, Barrow itself is very inflationary too. So I think we have to just remember that. But I think like when you compare Barrow to the chains that have a very similar valuation to it right now, aka Sonic, Aptos, Say,
Tia,
yeah,
dimension.
yeah, exactly. I think like as a pair trade against them, it seems like it seems good to me. But the problem is like now that the funding has flipped, you have to kind of monitor like how long could you even open a position like that for. I guess we'll hopefully be able to bring this to everyone on IVX as well pretty soon, especially with like a variety of other assets. So I think doing a trade like that would be interesting to me, where I can long bearer, and also on the same platform, like on Levo itself, short Say or short Sonic or something like that. I think those kind of trades I'll definitely be doing, because like yeah, you can, it's cross margin, and I think like I'd be pretty comfortable like with managing a position like that. So maybe that's the kind of trade that I do going forward. um haven't decided just yet, but I think that's like part of my plan. Yeah, I think maybe Aptos, maybe Sonic. I haven't figured out like which asset I'll pick for the short side. But I mean, really, it's just a trade where if the whole market goes down, I'm anticipating that something like Aptos or say potentially goes down more than Bearer, and if the market goes up, I'm anticipating Bearer to just go up more than those assets. Whilst the trading, at the same similar kind of price, doesn't really matter. My position is going to be okay. I guess the good thing as well, like when you're shorting with the asset that you choose to short with, you'll probably get paid funding that can offset the funding that you pay on the long side too. So yeah, yeah. Let's see. Um,
Agree.
I think this is kind of what I'm looking at more so. But I think in due time, like the ecosystem's going to keep developing. We're seeing new launches every single week still. There's really attractive yields on the chain now. So people are farming with Bex, or people are farming BGT for themselves, or they're farming IBGT. They're doing all these different strategies, and at some point, they're going to do.
And it's making good returns, by
Yeah,
the
very
way.
good returns. I'm seeing like the BGT that I'm earning.
Triple
Say
digit,
again?
triple digit
Yeah,
APR.
triple digit APRs. Yeah, exactly. And so yeah, I don't want to. I think let's see how it goes. I'm feeling bullish. Obviously, I'm biased. We're building IVX, and we know, what's interesting in the ecosystem, and we know what we're building ourselves, and kind of what we can bring to Berachain as a whole. So yeah, I think overall I'm feeling pretty bullish, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the ecosystem. I'm also looking forward to uh, a new UI upgrade that we're hopefully going to bring out pretty soon. So I think the terminal that you can see right now on screen is going to look good. It's going to look good. Cowardly Dog, you raised a really, really good point where honestly, as the name suggests as well, great name. Just holding BTC, I think we've mentioned this quite a few times over the last 12 months, maybe, that just Bitcoin is just the king and always has been the king. And I think more so now, especially because, we got to a point where actually we were talking about Bitcoin dominance, and like how Bitcoin dominance actually kind of went into the purple range. You look at the blue range. Sorry, we mapped this out a long, long time ago, and we were constantly talking about like how Bitcoin is going to kind of reach this range. We back in December when we were looking at it, we were like, you know what, it's close enough. Maybe this is it. Uh, we did see a crazy, crazy alt cycle back in November. And then kind of since then, everything's been bleeding out crazily. And so, yeah, Bitcoin dominance went up another 13% proper into this blue range. And this blue range, I think, doesn't make sense to you if you're looking at my chart right now. It makes sense when I zoom out, because as you can see here, a lot of historical action for Bitcoin dominance here. We're talking about 2020, 2019, 2021 as well. Big, big, like this is a key area. And we're back in it again. And since hitting the top, which I believe was on that liquidation day that we had on Monday, it's kind of come down a little bit. So yeah, I think I wrote alts here around here because I was anticipating that we go into this and kind of go all the way down, and this is when we see alt season. But I don't know if we're going to see alt season in general. Rather, we just see like pockets of outperformance, like we've seen with the agents for a month or two. Maybe we see it with like the rest of the ecosystem again in due time, but before everything just bleeds to zero. Yeah, so yeah, let's see. I think for me, one of the interesting strategies that I'm doing right now is I have some Bitcoin. You can borrow some stable coins against it, and you can just farm with those stable coins. And so at least you're kind of earning some yield on like an asset like Bitcoin. Make it a little bit productive. But either way, I'm very, very glad that I have some Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting strategy. Could hold Bitcoin and buy 6 to 12 month at the money put options. Interesting. You do need a bit of courage for it. I mean, something crazy could happen, right, in 6 to 12 months, and you could get wrecked with the puts as well. I don't know. I think it's hard for me to see where the market is that far in advance. Um, yeah, let's see. Let's see. Yeah.
Waj, what do you think about Berachain memes?
So I think the honest answer is I think Chain memes are quite disappointing so far. But I think that's not because there's a problem with the memes per se. But I think it's more of a problem with the lack of on-chain users potentially, or maybe just the lack of, I think poor bearer price action has just generally put some people off, maybe, and maybe
Do you
maybe a lot
think
of people.
that when Bera is above $10, like, would it spark
It
a
should
meme
do.
coin
It should
season?
do. I mean, I don't think we'll see like a meme coin season like Solana, but I do think there will be some memes that perform really, really, really well. Maybe the ones that are currently out there right now. I don't know any specific names, but yeah, I think it's doable for sure. Are some of the OG memes that exist right now a beta play on Bera? Maybe. I think if Bera performs well, then I don't see why they wouldn't do well, like do multiples based on kind of how well Bearer does. But I think if Bearer just continues to chop, and if the whole market actually nukes, if Bitcoin goes down a little bit more, then I think we're all in trouble, you know. So yeah, it's a tricky one.
Mm,
Do you agree or do you think
let's see.
differently?
I think memes will be like a good thing on batching.
I would.
Maybe I'm biased. Yeah.
Yeah, I generally thought that they would be a little bit more interesting. I like in terms of I thought that they'd be able to go a little bit more, but they haven't so far.
I think it needs more
Yeah,
users, and I think that users will be onboarded when beta actually starts pumping.
yeah, agree. And so maybe it's a good proxy right now, whilst they don't have that much attention. I don't know. I don't know. Um,
It's all an advantage for us. Like we're all able to buy bonga at cheap prices.
yeah. I don't have any meme exposure actually, personally, but
You need some bonga.
I don't know. I'm not convinced just yet. I'm not convinced.
You need it. You'll be convinced when it's at 10 million.
No, I won't. I won't. I'll be crying if that's the case. But yeah, let's see. I think we'll hopefully see some interesting new products coming out, some interesting new launches. And yeah, I guess we'll kind of see when that comes out. Cowardly Dog, you raise
Yeah.
another really, really interesting opportunity, which is what leverage trading JLP on Camino can be good once the bear market is established. Maybe, I don't know. Wonder how active the bear market will be going forward on Jupiter. I'll tell you why this is interesting, and that's because IVX, we have our own instrument very, very similar to this. It's called IVLP, and it will be like the option version of Jupiter's perps. So it'll be powered by IVX, which I think is going to be really fun, really interesting. Um, I think, yeah, like that, because it's going to be earning yield from the trading fees, plus of course you kind of get the exposure to the assets and exposure to stable coins. So yeah, I think it's going to be great when we're able to launch this. It's in the works right now, so hopefully we can get this out. Probably definitely this month anyway. Definitely will be this month. But that will be like your equivalent of JLP on Berachain, and we'll power it with POL hopefully as well. So there's some extra juicy rewards on top of it. Yeah, it's called
Yeah.
IVLP, and we haven't launched it yet, but we will have it out later this month.
IVLP stands for I very like
I very
profits.
like profit, so implied volatility liquidity product or liquidity pool. But I very like profit. I very like profit sounds good to me. Um,
We need this on a t-shirt.
good idea. Good idea. Yeah, let's see. I think the great thing about it is like you have this instrument that gives you exposure to Bitcoin, ETH, Bearer, and then stable coins. And so it's kind of like this perfect portfolio where you have some Bitcoin, you have some ETH, you have some Bearer, and you have some stable coins. And then it earns from the yield that comes from all of the trading, plus POL, plus our own incentives on top. We have RFA as well on top of that. So we'll throw a good amount at it. So it should be really, really interesting. I am really looking forward to instruments like this. I was a huge fan of GMX's GLP. I used JLP myself. I think the strategy that Cowardly Dog mentioned is really, really good. I mean, Mo, look at a chart like this, man. I mean, I wonder if it's on TradingView. This doesn't even tell you the
Yeah,
full
it's insane.
story because this is just like a recent chart. Hold on, let me find it on Deck Screener. This is like literally one of the like best looking charts that I've seen. Let's see if I can pull it up here. I want to see like a really, really a chart over time. Maybe did it start in April? Maybe it's only been around for a year, but I mean, this has just been performing so well. Maybe this isn't the best pool to look at. JLP. Maybe this one. Hold on, let's have a look. Yeah, here we go. I mean, this chart's been like really, really good. And the thing is, right? Like you could have bought it at any time. You could have bought it here. 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 The only time where like you've been down a little bit is just at the Pico top of Solana. Of course, over
Yeah.
time, like with the ongoing fees, like this will just slowly start to creep up again. as the protocol continues to earn revenue, even if the price action is just going sideways. So yeah, I think this is like one of the beauties of a product like this. If and the same with IVLP as well. Like if Bitcoin performs well or if Bearer performs well, you will be able to like increase your P&L essentially. Um, and
Yeah,
yeah, I think once we get like so just like Camino, like you mentioned, we're trying to get IVLP listed on some money markets too. So you'll be able to like leverage up on do all kinds of crazy cool stuff there as well. So yeah, I think it'll be great. It'll be really, really good. Um,
definitely.
yeah, and I think options in general will be great because you'll be able to sell them, you'll be able to earn real yield on them. There's a whole range of different strategies that you can do, and yeah, I'm very, very excited to bring them out to the market. So yeah, hopefully end of this month. I think it will be really, really fun once we get that out.
Definitely, definitely.
Anything else that you're trading at the moment, or like any trading strategy? Is there anything that has there been anything over the last week that's actually performed well?
Nothing is tradable at the moment.
I mean, I'm just gonna go on like Coin Market Cap and see like what actually went up this week. Off the top of my head, I can't remember like what's performed well.
Probably the coin of the Congo Republic.
Yeah, that was one thing. I mean, this stuff you really, really have to keep on top of, right? Like you can't you have like 2 days to like enter and exit really, and that's about it. But I mean, if I look at like the 7 day chart of basically the top 100, there's only one coin that's actually performed semi decent, maybe two, three, maybe like above 25% up. SPX 6900, which somehow it like is doing amazing. I don't even know how, but somehow is. Every other meme coin is down so bad, and this one is like still holding up strong. You have Jito from Solana, which I'm not sure why that's up so much. They probably had some sort of upgrade. I think Jito is also one of the highest revenue generating protocols in the space right now. And you have PancakeSwap, which I believe probably comes from the resurgence of BNB and Binance kind of
Yeah,
tokens over the last couple of days. Yeah, I see BNB also up quite a lot over the last 7 days. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, we're talking 10%, 15%, 20% up. Nothing really. Yeah, I mean, it's been kind of quiet overall. Hyperliquid, however, it has been doing pretty well. Now, this was $20 only a couple of days ago. Now back to 20. I'm sure if I have a look, wasn't this like $20? 22. I'm sure in the last month it did dip. There were some wicks that ended up going down to 20, but back up to 27 again. So pretty interesting. Otherwise,
Hyperliquid has definitely been like an outperformer.
yeah, it has. Hyperliquid chart looks really, really good actually. But uh, again, for me, the biggest worry of buying anything right now is just I'm just a bit scared about what's happening with Bitcoin. That's it, really. I don't know if Bitcoin is like had its low. I really hope it does. By the way, I really hope that is the case because it's good for all of our bags. But there's something in my head. I don't know what it is, but it just makes me think that the damage is not done just yet. I don't know. Mo, talk me out
Mm,
of it. Make me feel bullish. Uh,
I'm not even bullish.
and by the way, this is just like a short-term thing. I'm extremely bullish on everything crypto related in the long run. But
We'll probably get like 150k Bitcoin, but the sooner we get that big pullback, the better.
yeah, I'm just worried that maybe Bitcoin does go into the 80s, and the problem is I haven't figured out myself exactly what effect this will have on the altcoin market, which has already been nuked so much. The obvious answer is that it's just going to nuke everything even more, and Bitcoin dominance is just going to go even higher. But yeah, it's just a little bit tricky. Do I buy like some short-term puts to hedge myself? Um, my downside is kind of
Probably option selling.
my downside is limited. Yeah, do I just sell covered calls and earn extra yield in the meantime? I haven't figured it out just yet. So I think one thing that will be great is once we launch DM, like I can finally trade bearer options. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. But yeah, otherwise I think I'm in a position where actually I just want to accumulate more Bitcoin, accumulate more stable coins, and use them to earn yield in the meantime whilst I'm waiting. And if the market goes up, great. The rest of my portfolio is going to do really well. If the market goes down, I feel good. At least I actually took some chips off the table, and at least I had some Bitcoin and I have some stables, and I'm still earning some yield, and maybe I can buy the dip. Um,
Agree. Agree.
for me anyway, mentally it's just much easier to manage that sort of portfolio whilst you're working on like 10 different things as well and building a protocol and all of the other stuff that comes with that. At least like managing your portfolio that way is a little bit easier because being in front of my screen trading all day, as much as I'd like to do it, I don't really have the capacity to do it this month. So
It's very
so
tiring.
yeah so it looks like the Kodiak guys are in on the stream as well. They ask, how much is enough to retire?
Probably like 69,000 beta.
69,000 barra. How much is 69,000 barra?
That's not much. That's like
69,000 times
400k.
by 5.7.
400k USD.
Uh, yeah. Well, actually, okay, Mo, if you're earning 500% APR on your 69,000 barra, maybe that's enough to get you by. I don't know how much those yields are gonna, how long they're gonna last for. But could be interesting.
Mm. But no, I think 69,000 beta will be enough because beta is eventually going to like $200.
Hmm. Uh, I think Magic Jammer, you mentioned an interesting point here as well, like kind of using iron condors. This is a type of option strategy that you can do where I think you expect kind of low volatility. So I think that's what he's referring to when he says calm trading. You essentially buy calls and strikes at different prices, and maybe this is could maybe for you if you're thinking about that, that could be interesting. For me, I don't think that we're going to have low volatility for long. I'm worried about high volatility, but to the downside, which is why I thought about considering to potentially buy some puts, just hedge myself a little bit, and yeah, I don't know. I haven't figured it out just yet, but yeah, it says it says a farm, but not the type of farm that I'm used to. Actually buying a farm. I don't know if that's for me. I'm not a fan of British weather, so I don't know if I'm the type of person to get my wellies out and start farming. I like to put my assets in high yield strategies on chain instead. That's my kind of farming. Um, yeah, at times like this, maybe don't trade. I like to always trade. I think there's always like some sort of strategies that you can do. Farm with stables. Do the delta neutral strategies that we talked about. Maybe one of the things that I think is really great is go on IVX, go on Levo, find some assets that have really high funding rates for the short side, and like short those assets. And what you do is you just spot hold some other assets. So maybe you see Solana funding is pretty high on the short side. Short 1x leverage Sol. Go on the market, buy yourself some Sol as well. Completely delta neutral. The price can go up to 300 or down to 100. Doesn't matter. You will be making yield because you'll earn from the staking part on your spot side, and on the short leg you're going to be earning the funding rates. So that's like a really really lovely trade that I like to do in markets like this. You don't really have to manage it so much. You're using 1x leverage, nothing really to focus on. Yeah, not too bad. Um, Interesting. Yes. So yeah, I think these kind of strategies, I think will be really good because you can do a whole range of different, you can do a whole range of different option strategies. This is like one of them that I think could be interesting. Maybe we'll do some education on how we can use iron condors in like a crab market. Anyway, yeah, let's see. I think that would
Yeah.
be pretty interesting to do. Um,
Anyway, I think I'm gonna have to go, but thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, and yeah,
all right.
I'll see you
Yep.
soon, guys.
All right. See you later, Mo.
Bye.
I'm here for a couple more minutes.
Bye.
We'll just ask if there's any questions. We can then kind of wrap things up after. I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Over I guess like the last kind of things that I'll say on my side is, over the next couple of days, we'll have some improvements to the app. I know that a lot of people have had some issues. I know that there's been some issues with depositing. I also know that there's been some issues with like some of the execution side and the UI aspects as well. All of this should be ironed out in the coming days. Devs are working pretty hard right now, and so on the dev side, as soon as they're able to push those updates out, we'll hopefully show you what's new and kind of some of the cool stuff that's coming out. We will also be able to hopefully add some assets in due time as well, so you will be able to trade, do some of those trades as well. Doge, let's have a look. We can have a look at Doge. Let's have a look. Do you want me to look at the Doge Bitcoin chart particularly? All right, let's have a look. Doge BTC. This is interesting. I've personally never looked at the Doge BTC chart before, but interesting given just kind of where we are from a technical perspective. Like having areas of support back here in 22, this used to be a resistance. Now we've come all the way back down to support. What's crazy is that every single time like Doge goes up, it like absolutely goes crazy against Bitcoin, and the rest of the time is like constantly just bleeding down. So like you have these crazy volatile moments where it like completely outperforms Bitcoin, but like in days, like in a matter of days. Maybe we just kind of end up just bleeding a little bit, and then we just have this one rocket day, end up going all the way back. It shouldn't be that high actually. Hold on, let's draw that again. Bleeding. Nice volatility, couple of days or weeks. Bleeding, all the way back down. Nice big day again. Yeah, maybe it's something like that. I don't know. That's the kind of pattern that I see on this chart anyway. But yeah, maybe you have some more insights. Magic Jammer, you have some more insights. Maybe we can look at the Doge chart itself. Yeah, they're different drivers. Absolutely, I think I agree with you on that. Let's pull up the normal Doge chart. And look at this. Yeah, I think we actually talked about this in November, like when it had this like upside kind of coming for it. It performed really well, up 500%. Since then, like bleeding a lot. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know what the positive catalyst for Doge is right now. What the driver is. Maybe Elon Musk is going to do something in due time, but I struggle to see why it won't end up just bleeding back down to this range again, around here. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you guys have some insights as well. But to me, like, yeah, I think this is just kind of like where I think it's going to end up again. And I guess we're not that far off if you think about it. We are, we're like maybe another 15%. Maybe there's a chance that like we kind of go back to this zone and we stabilize here and then we push up. I mean, these are the two scenarios that I have in my head based on like how this chart looks. This is option number 1, and this is option number 2. Yeah, that's kind of what I have in my head when I look at Doge. Wonder what you guys think as well. They're posting constantly on Twitter. Positive catalyst is literally finding money in the U.S. government. Department of Doge. I can't remember what it stands for. Department of Governance Sufficiency. No, that's not what it stands for, right? Stands for something else. I can't remember. But yeah, you know what? It's an interesting theory. Maybe Dogecoin goes up as the government is able to save more money, right, from cutting all these random expenses. I've seen crazier things in crypto before. That makes logical sense to me. Yeah, why not? the Department of Government Efficiency. That's it. Yeah, maybe why not? I still feel though, from a technical perspective, like these are the two scenarios that we have right now. I don't see how we don't just kind of like retest this area. Would surprise me if we didn't. I think we're seeing like clear, patterns of higher low, lower low, higher low. I mean, lower high. Sorry, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So until that kind of trend changes, I'm not sure. But I like the thesis. Makes sense. Um, would I be trading this right now? I don't have that much edge because I haven't. I'll be honest with you. I haven't really been following what's going on in that regard. I haven't been following like what's going on with Doge itself with the U.S. government. I've just been seeing they are trying to cut stuff. I think they did cut like a crazy amount of money already. And I've seen I've read a few things regarding like the thesis of like how much they can possibly continue to cut. Um, Maybe it's an interesting pair trade. I don't know. It seems a little high risk for me personally at the moment, but I completely can understand the thesis. It definitely makes sense for me. Um, yeah. Any other kind of assets that you want us to look at? We can have a look at it right now. We can look at some charts. I'm around for a little while, so we can have a look at some stuff if you want. Send me some tickers. We could do some TA. Yeah, it could be a good pair trade. Who knows? Maybe I'll write a caption. Hold on, let's have a look. Send me some tickers. Look at some charts. Here we go. Send me some tickers. We'll look at some charts together. Okay, let's look at SWI. So here's SWI. You can see that I looked at this chart a long time ago. I haven't actually traded SWI myself for a while. So let's remove all of this noise and kind of start again. Let's start from scratch. See what we can find here. So SWI, ran up massively. Crazy that it went all the way to like 5.3, which is I believe 53 billion FTV. Since then, we did have this wick that kind of took us all the way back down to this area of support here. Let's see if I can add some other areas that might be of interest. Here's another one. And then I think this would also potentially be another one. Maybe I need to look on the weekly and see if we can find any specific areas on the weekly per se. Yeah, well, maybe let's have a look at the 4-hourly as well. I think it's a lot more clearer here actually, like what's been going on specifically. Yeah, you can clearly see. I think this is actually really clear now. You can see we topped out here. This was the top. Let's put that here. Top. Definitely like back in the same range from November. Now I think this is the case with pretty much all alts really. Now in this kind of range bound environment. Something that I mention a lot is that I like to do my areas of trading at the bottom of ranges or at the top of ranges. So I think for me as well, like while SWI is like in the middle of nowhere, maybe this kind of just grinds up and slowly goes towards $4. At this point, this is where I would do my trading. So around here, I'd either look for like tests and a retest and kind of look for price action to go up, or I would look for it to go all the way back down to the bottom of the range. I think that's typically what you find, especially with the deviation as well. If it can't break this, if it can't hold this $4.10 mark, then I do think we end up going all the way back down on something like this. So yeah, this is kind of how it looks to me. Maybe like if the whole market nukes, maybe we just see SWI going back down to $2.4 again. But yeah, that's kind of how I'm looking at it right now. Um, yeah, seems seems like how I would look at it right now when I'd be looking at something like SWE. Um, this week was a really good time to pick some up because you were up like 65% in like a few days. But yeah, it's just generally a bit choppy in this range. But yeah, this is kind of how I'm looking at it right now. What else are we looking at? There's quite a few tickers. Okay, let's have a look at OM. This is going to be an interesting one because OM is an interesting asset that you can farm with as well. And I don't actually know what the best chart for me to bring up OM will be. It might be a deck screener chart. So let me find it and open it up, and maybe we can have a look at it together. Because there's actually a very good amount of liquidity of on Berachain now as well. But I'm gonna have a look at the. I'm gonna have a look at the chart here. Man, crazy. Ohm's at all-time high right now. Crazy. I mean, there's no TA to be done on this. This is looking like a JLP like chart. You know, this is just literally up and to the right. And it looks like you could have bought this at any time over the last 2 years and probably done well for yourself. So yeah, good for you if you've done that. Olympus, we can actually analyze this a little bit more probably by looking at this specific chart where we're looking at the backing and like the premium to the backing, and you can see like the backing is increasing ever so slightly, but the premium is much more than that. Maybe if I zoom out a little bit, you can see this. Look, the backing is definitely increasing a little bit, but like yeah, the premium is a lot higher. I'm guessing part of this is due to the bearer 1% of bearer that do hold as well. So I think maybe we'll see that over time get added here. But of course, yeah, there's lots of revenue coming from DAI. Infrared bearer, like they have 27 million of this iBearer. Crazy. And obviously this is gonna do really well if the price of bearer goes up. Then I think it's going to be good for looks like they have a good amount of POL on Kodiak as well as through Bearadrome, so they're going to be doing pretty well with that as well. So yeah, I think Ohm's a really interesting one. I kind of don't really treat Ohm as an asset that is going to like go up drastically. I mean, if you look at this, the ROI isn't that crazy. Even though the chart looks amazing. I mean, we're talking about 120% gain. As far as I'm aware, Bitcoin's outperformed Ohm, but I mean the downside is like risk adjusted pretty good. I think the matter of the fact as well is that you can earn pretty good yields with Ohm as well. I'm assuming 30 to 50%. And so that can mitigate some of the downside too. But of course, one thing to note is that you have to be a little bit careful because like risk reward wise back in August, the ohm price compared to the liquid backing per ohm was very close, and over time you can see that the premiums got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and now the premium's like 2.5x. So I mean, if the price of ohm were to go down like 40% from here, I mean, it wouldn't really change anything per se because the liquid backing is still going to be pretty good. So it's just about the premium. You got to price this in yourself based on how you price the bearer that Olympus have and kind of what they're going to do with it. I think you really have to be a little bit more involved in the ecosystem, get involved in their governance to really appreciate it properly. Otherwise, I think it's a hard one to trade, particularly. To long-term hold, I think it's a different thing altogether. But to trade it, it's a little bit more tricky. So yeah, I think that's that. There was a couple of other assets that I think you guys were mentioning. So one of them is IMX, which is the gaming coin. I think it's the gaming L2, immutable X, I believe. I mean, this is like completely round tripped everything from the whole of the last 12 months, which is sad to see because gaming's never caught a bid properly. This is down 80% from the peak back in March of last year. If you look at like the actual bear market bottom, we are only 50% above that. At one point, we were like on a token like this up massively, but this just looks like it's just going down and down and down. Yeah, not terrible looking chart that is. I don't know what the catalysts are for IMX. Um, not too sure, but I think I am yet to see gaming really take off. Like, and last year we had last cycle, I should say, there was some interesting ones. There was, of course, Axie Infinity. There was something that I really enjoyed as well with GameFi, which was DeFi Kingdoms. This cycle, really yet to see it. So yeah, I think had you bought this coin anytime, like tried to dollar cost average, you just tough coin to hold. I mean, even from December, like in just the last 2 months, you're down 65%. Oof, very tricky coin to hold, this one. So yeah, that's a tough one as well. There is a rune, of course, as well, which I think has had a massive catastrophe over the last 2 months. This coin is down 81% in like literally 2 months. Terrible. Has been tricky. Let's look at some DeFi coins. Aave is like one that I think has been interesting because it's not down that much overall from all-time high. 30, maybe a bit more, 35%. Whereas like, a lot of these other alts are down 80%. This is down the same amount as ETH. And this has performed really well, even from the bottom to the top, like 500% gain in like, a few months really. Aave is still like, probably the king of DeFi right now when it comes to TVL and things like that. So yeah, interesting one, I'd say. What's really interesting is if you take a look at this list, though, however, you will find like, some of these other assets have been absolutely annihilated. Like Athena, for example, which I think, I'm surprised that its price action's been so weak. But I mean, look at this. We're getting Christmas tree pattern here. This is Burj Khalifa almost like pattern. Shocking. But this is down how much now from all-time high? 65%. Not even all-time high, from local top. 65% down. Is this just gonna carry on until we kind of hit a bottom like maybe somewhere like here? Let's move this down a little bit more. Maybe it's just gonna kind of come back down to somewhere like this, which I don't know. But I mean, a difficult one to kind of bid this right now when the downside momentum is so big. Yeah, tough one. And I think there are many other DeFi coins as well that are like this as well. So I think even Eigenlayer down bad as well. I mean, from the local top down to 70%, down 70% now. Another one that's been a very difficult one. We're just constantly lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Will we get a lower high coming, and then like maybe we just kind of consolidate eventually before we go up again, or maybe this is the end of something like Eigen. I don't know. I really don't know. But it's they're not particularly interesting charts to be buying, right? Whereas I don't know if I can see Hyperliquid on here, but Hyperliquid, however, I mean, this has actually been one that I think has been strong and looking okay actually. Over the last month, it's probably one of the only assets that is up 50%. You did get many chances, even like this week, to kind of dollar cost average in at these low prices. Will you get another chance? I don't know. I mean, how many times is this going to try and break this resistance? It's tried on many occasions now. This time, is it going to be the one? Right, we'll have to wait and see. One time here with the deviation, another time here. Is this the fourth time lucky? Let's see. This is the fourth attempt. I can't spell, but yeah, fourth attempt. Let's see if this one is the one. I think of many of the charts that we have in crypto today, this is actually one of the most bullish looking ones right now that we have. So yeah, this one's an interesting one. This is Hyperliquid. Any other tickers? Any other tickers that you want me to have a look at? See if there's anything that looks remotely bullish at all. Dot not looking so bad. Let's have a look. I've never actually traded Dot myself, but let's have a look here. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of gone through its cycle of going up and down. I think, yeah, it went up 200% or so. Now all the way back down again. Uh, yeah, it's probably going to consolidate around here as well. I don't think. I think it's looking okay in terms of like pressure to the downside. Not sure how much more pressure there is for the foreseeable future, but I think yeah, if it's able to get past this kind of area, then maybe it could have another run. I don't know, maybe it could, but again, like the recent historical price action for the last month has just been terrible. Like down with lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Is this just another? Is this just another lower high? Are we going to just end up back down here again? I'm not sure, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm interested to see if there's anything. Oh, I didn't realize Dot is an L2 right now. I did not realize that. Interesting. Yeah, I'm interested to see if there's anything that's like actually performing well right now. So maybe I can pull up. Let's see if I can pull up one of these AI coins that I've just seen mentioned in the comments. And I know that this has performed actually quite well recently, or is holding up quite well. It's hard to do TA on like some of these coins because the liquidity is just so thin, and this has like 30% moves in an hour at times, which is just crazy. But yeah, this is something that is actually looking a little bit better than pretty much all other AI coins right now. So yeah, this is ARC. If I'm being honest, from a fundamental perspective, I don't know how good this Rust-based infrastructure is. I haven't quite figured that out just yet, but yeah, it could be one that I think is interesting. Yeah, fine. I think with that, probably the last one that we'll talk about today. If you want, we can do more of these kind of looking at token charts and analyzing them. We can definitely do this a little bit more. Otherwise, I think save your questions for Discord and save your charts for next week. We'll be back again with the weekly vol. Have a lovely weekend, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, and see you again next week.